first. I see evil when I converse.
Not today, say.
This how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns. Set it off. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it off. You living boring, I'm gonna set it off. Shooting, I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it off. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it off. Son of God, no, I am not son of man. Blessings keep falling, the fingers keep coming in. I got you, but just know I'm texting like Uncle Sam. Left to the bank, you know that I'm coming in. We don't do it for the bands though, we don't do it for the clout. Legacy on the line, so I'm moving in and out. Seen good ones turn top dog, greedy ones get knocked off. I keep looking at the bench like I could never not ball. Coach keep me in the game, Curry deadly with the range. I keep looking in the mirror like, who is he? I'm insane. Who am I? He insane. Guess I ain't the one to blame. What's done is done, won't change. Time to live up to my name. Real will be real, fake gon' fall. Took time with this here, I'm made for a walk. No sleep in the while, I won't fall. No sleep in the while, I want it all. I keep God first. I see evil when I converse.
Not today, say.
This how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns. Set it off. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it off. You living boring, I'm gonna set it off. Shooting, I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it off. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it off. Told my baby, meet me at the bank. Told my mama, I'ma break the trend. Locked in, I'ma change the weight. Working for my baby's kids. Hard times couldn't make the rent. Working hard couldn't save a cent. Lonely nights, just me and God. Swear to him, always made the ends. Grab a paper, see the news. Hate coming by the tools. Walk a mile in my shoes. Something you can never do. Got my back against the wall. Bet I always pull through. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Send a shot tight, block 'em. Superman with the moves. Rock 'em, sock 'em, drop bop 'em. Play to win, never lose. Run it up, I top 'em. Play for belly too. I hip hop or pop 'em. Anything I could do. Real won't be real, fake gon' fall. Took time with this here, I'm made for a walk. No sleep in the while, I won't fall. No sleep in the while, I want it all. I keep God first. I see evil when I converse.
Not today, say.
This how God works. Play my position, what is given with no concerns. Set it off. Top of the morning, I'm gonna set it off. You living boring, I'm gonna set it off. Shooting, I'm scoring, I'm gonna set it off. Like soldiers torn, I'm gonna set it off.
I can hurt you like you hurt me too, me too. We're letting go, drifting apart. We're letting go, drifting apart. I can hurt you like you hurt me too, me too. We're letting go, drifting apart. We're letting go, drifting apart. hurt me too, me too. We're letting go, we're letting go, we're I can hurt you like you hurt me too, me too. We're letting go, we're letting go, we're
What's up, everybody? Bulavinaka, it's raining right now, and just started to rain.
Oh my god.
It's crazy.
Sorry. Had to close my louvers.
Yeah,
We're live?
yeah, we're live.
Well, actually, I'll hold my mic today because I don't know if you guys will hear me. If you can hear me, give me one. Give me one in the chat if you can hear me. Welcome back to the live, everybody. My name is Jonathan. Yes, so bright. Happy Friday. Welcome back to the mat. And yeah, excited to see you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you for hanging out. Let me just see if you guys asked us any questions today. Any questions? Nothing on Instagram?
Bola, apa?
Facebook? Any luck on Facebook?
Yeah.
Oh, Facebook coming through. Where do you live? We live in Senganga, in the northern, the second largest island in Fiji to the north. All right. Yeah, Fiji's northernmost island, I suppose.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
This island.
What's special about Senganga when you can invest elsewhere in Vanuatu? Sorry. Just thought I'd ask. Tau. Well, this is where I'm from, like I said. So this is why we invest here. Not because it's convenient or because it's the best place to invest, but our slogan is like our tagline is it's in our roots, and so the reason that we came back here was to do something where my roots are, and so it would be a bit not hypocritical, but kind of like it would feel hypocritical almost to me if I didn't do something here first before we went somewhere else. So yeah, I'm determined to try to make it work for people in Vanua so that we don't all have to leave. So that's why we do it in Siagaga. Yes, there are other places in Vanua like Lambasa or Sabu and you know.
Yeah, the
Right.
village is called Manini Buda.
Yeah. That's why we do it here. Yeah. Always follow your vlogs. Amazing to see how you started till today. Just want to ask about how you started. How did we start? Welcome everybody who's just, all you guys who are just dropping in. Bula to you all. Thank you guys for joining. If you guys got something you want to talk about, let me know. Tui is behind the camera right now, and he'll let me know. If you guys have something to say, then he'll let me know, and we'll chat about it. How we started? Well, I don't want to bore everybody because I feel like I say this every week. We were sitting on this veranda on one of our trips home, looking at this mountain. We were convicted with all the empty space, all the empty land that is around in our clan's like reserve, and so we thought that, man, we got to do something with the, like, now that we've realized our conviction, we feel like we have to do something about it. So that's kind of what kickstarted this whole thing, and so we decided to start with farming, and then kind of had a few setbacks with cyclones and stuff like that, and so diversified so that we can kind of come full circle back to farming in a more constructive and I guess more mature way, instead of just planting and selling. And so even though you guys see me like selling beans and, you know, bundling beans and doing that kind of stuff, it's all, I'm trying to get you guys ready for what we're going to do soon, which will be a fun expansion that we're going to be doing with the coffee brand to the mainland. And so this is all indoctrination. I'm trying to get you guys familiar with the fact that our location has fresh produce. So yeah, that's kind of how we got started. What allows us to be here is that Stephanie and I, my wife and I, have a cleaning company in Canada that we still own and is operated by a manager. So we have to do work every once in a while with it, and that is what provides us the income to be able to be in Fiji. So yeah, we set up that business. We ran it for about 10 years. We started from scratch. It was a business that you didn't really need any capital to start. And so yeah, we just decided to go with the cleaning business. And yeah, 10 years later, we set it up so it could be kind of earn us passive income so we could walk away from it. And that's what it does now. That's how we get to be here.
Got one celebrity in the chat.
Oh,
Harry Potter. This guy's named Harry Potter.
hello.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter.
you
Harry
thinking-
Potter.
Are you thinking of going back home one day?
I am home. Next question. What do we got? My laptop is not with me right now. So, what do we got
I got another question, yeah.
for chats?
From the Mari Nakambera. Bula, did you gain more from farming?
What's that?
Did you gain more from farming?
Did I gain more from farming? See, here's the thing with farming is like, farming is good to a certain extent, but it's not the end all be all. Like, you know, we throw around these terms like, oh, you know, the money's in the land, you know, like everything is here. Everything is here that we need. It's like, what is everything? Like the ability to plant and survive off the land. Yeah, that's there. But the ability to grow like a a large, diverse business is not there. And so if I was to come to Senganga and people were to ask me, what do I do? And I was to say, building my brand, or we're building our brand, Waka brand, that wouldn't connect with the people in the community. And so when I can say, oh, I do farming, people automatically have a connection and they feel like we have like a common point. And the first rule of like relationships for me is to find like a common point with people and dive into that so that either you can complete the sale, so that you can invest in them relationally, so that you can, you know, assist them if it's, you know, if they're looking for advice or stuff like that. And so for me to be able to say that we do farming is a huge connection point for a lot of people in Fiji. And so how was the question phrased again?
Did you gain more from farming?
Oh, okay. So the intention is that like through doing this kind of stuff, creating content and doing the Waka family stuff, we are just branding, we're just attaching a story to our brand, the brand Waka. And so it would be very boring if all I did was sell beans and I used like a, I don't know, sticker on it that said Waka Farms or something like that. Like that wouldn't get much traction because there's a million people who sell beans in Fiji. Like there's actually hundreds of us, right? And so what makes my beans special is that everybody sees them. And so when it comes time for me to have a place to, you know, display our produce on a larger scale, people will feel like they can like connect with like, oh, I know the farm where this stuff came from. I saw it being planted. I kind of, you know, felt like I have a connection with the people who are working there because I know their story, and then they'll buy the product. And so instead of just having beans to sell, we're going to build a brand, and you guys will like subconsciously attach our story and our characters and our convictions and the things that we talk about to the brand and henceforth to the products that we will sell. And so I hope that farming will become a larger part of what we do, and I know it will. But the way for us to not do it is just to be the farmers and then sell it to middlemen who screw us over all the time. And for anybody who's in farming, you know who that goes. You're just always at the mercy of the guys who control the market. And so for me, like I say whatever, right now it's beans, right? Like, and so I just come in and my bundles are the same size as the $3 or $5 ones. I sell them for $2. So I just undercut everybody. And so I control that, because that's what I can do. And so eventually I can charge more for that once I build the value in it. But instead of being controlled by, my whole intention is to be able to skip the middleman and go direct to market. And so that's what we're going to do. And just to farm is not the easiest way to get ahead. And I'm not just trying to build wealth for like me and my family. Like I'm trying to be able to create an opportunity for people in this area to maintain a lifestyle and to preserve the culture. And so there's a passage, let me look this up before I quote this, because it can sound kind of narcissistic if I do not quote it correctly. Give me a moment here. I just highlighted it the other day in my Bible. Okay, yeah, so Luke 4:24. I'm going to quote this because it stood out to me while I was reading in my devotions the other day. This is actually not like a stage thing, it's just because I'm thinking about this in my thought process while I'm thinking about this out loud. So, welcome to everybody who's just joining live. We are answering the question, how much or have you gained from farming?
Another question here.
So,
you
just wait. So Jesus, he is in Nazareth, right? And so he's coming out of being tested in the wilderness, you know, where, you know, Satan says, you know, here he says to Satan, like, you know, man shall not live on bread alone. So he's coming out of that, and then he goes to Nazareth where he is rejected, and so then which is his hometown, right? And so he says, verse 24, truly I tell you, he continued, no prophet is accepted in his hometown. So he was saying he came back to his hometown, and people just didn't really like him because he was, he's such a big figure. He was a celebrity at this point, right? And he's really pissing people off, like the Pharisees and the really legalistic people, and he's doing things in a different way. And he says there's no love for a prophet in his hometown. And so when I'm doing what we're doing, I'm going to have to do things a different way than everybody else does if I want to get a different result. And so, which means that the things that I do a lot of the time won't make people happy. And so the reason why a lot of people end up leaving Fiji, I've talked with people about this, is, because either they want more for their life or because they feel like they can't get ahead in this system, right? And so in order to be able to get ahead in this system, you have to be able to be willing to be a person that is not liked, because you're going to have to do things in a different way. And I'm saying this because, like, even though I'm trying to create an opportunity for people to not have to move overseas and people to leave the village or their homes and their families, where fathers have to go work and pick fruit and make no money in Australia, that means that, like, I myself will have to do something that isn't culturally acceptable a lot of the times. For example, like, we're building a village hall here, and most of the guys are helping out, and I'm on the farm going back and forth. My in-laws are here, so I'm obviously trying to manage that and, be hospitable with them because they've never been to Fiji. But I know what people are saying in the background, but that just doesn't matter, because, like, at the end of the day, I realize that verse really helped me, because, like, I won't be loved a lot of the times in this place. And there's some people who think, like, oh, there's literally one person that commented, I think, on Twitter, and they said, oh, they just must get worshipped in their village. And, like, or you can tell that they get worshipped. And I'm like, you guys have no idea. Like, nobody knows me from Waka family or our brand in the village. Like, I'm nephew, grandson, or cousin, brother to everybody here. Everybody just knows me by Chonatani, which is my middle name. And so it's okay. And I realize that there won't be a lot of love for me in where I'm from, because I'm going to have to do things in a different way, because I don't expect everybody here to understand what I'm doing. But every time and I say this all the time, every time somebody leaves the village, like, a little piece of the culture leaves with them, whether you like it or not. And so, and a little piece of family. And so the way that I kind of, like, justify that is, partly by this verse, because that was the story for Jesus. And I'm not a prophet, and I'm not Jesus, and I'm not a teacher. I'm just a guy trying to do something different, which requires different actions than everybody else. Because to do the same thing, over and over again and expect a different result is the definition of insanity, as they say, right? And so, you don't save me. Like, you're not one of my offspring. I don't make love to you. And I don't work for you. And you don't pay my bills. So your opinion doesn't really matter that much, I guess. It's kind of how I think about it. Because it's not easy sometimes, because, like, I know people talk, but it's just what people will do. And so at the end of the day, all the people that have something to say will be there with their hands outstretched, asking for money or whatever it is at the end of the day. The same people that will badmouth you. And so you just have to push through. And so it's a very long answer to that question. But yeah, that's what's required if you're going to stay and do something different, is that you have to be okay with people not, like, you have to prioritize whose feelings you're going to prioritize. Is it going to be God, your wife, your kids, yourself, and your employees, or your boss, or is it going to be everybody else who doesn't actually put food on the table for you and love you and hug you at night? So, yeah, it's kind of a hard ass way to think about it, but that's sometimes how I have to approach the situation, because trying to do something I don't expect everybody to understand. And so, yeah.
Sad.
What? Just keep going.
That right there is the kind of mentality that everyone needs to grow. It's from Nora to that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's not easy. Like it's not for everybody, and like not everybody can do it. Otherwise, like the whole culture would fall apart. That's the thing. Like not everybody can do what I'm doing, and nor should you, because like it would mean like the breakdown of our culture in a large way. And so it's just like I really believe deeply in my heart that every time somebody leaves, like a little piece of Fiji leaves with them. And there's a lot of people who leave and come back rarely, and their kids then are not here, and then the knowledge and the tradition is gone. It's just never passed down. And so like my kids are being raised here. They know the language. They listen to all the aunties and uncles and what they say, and they're learning stuff about this. Whereas if I just keep them overseas, like that'll just never be part of their life, whether you like it or not. It's just not a priority. And so, yeah. I mean, even some of my own close family members don't always understand what we're doing, but it's like, it's the long game, and it's just, you just can't do the same thing everybody's doing and expect a different result. That's just it at the end of the day. And so, yeah, just gotta stick it out. Thank you for living through my rant, all of you.
So with that answers like this question too. What are the challenges you faced or facing?
Okay,
It's from Nora.
Nora, what are the challenges? Yeah, like, I mean, I don't consider, like, other people's opinion of me to be a challenge, because, like, that's for themselves to have to deal with. Like, I don't, like I said, like, if you don't pay me and you don't save me, and I don't make love to you, and you're not one of my offspring, and I don't pay you, then, like, I don't really care, because there's too many things to care about and too many people to care about. And so you just have to prioritize. Other challenges? Yeah, just good things take a long time. So I always say, like, everything seems to be on the other side of 10 years of, like, blood, sweat, and tears, and lots of tears. And so we just have to be willing. Everybody has the potential. Just most people aren't cut out for the long game. And so this game is not complex like the game of business. There's lots of money in the world. That's the thing. There's lots of money in the world. And for us to not be able to get it, if we're talking about this business, and the purpose of business is to make money and to build wealth, then, like, the fact there's lots of money in the world, and so it's not hard to get. It's not complicated to get. It's just it's not complex. You just have to be consistent. So the game is not about complexity. It's about consistency. And most people, like, get too complex, and they get worried, and they think about capital and raising money and doing all these, like, different things. Whereas, like, if you would just be okay to not be satisfied in the moment and to delay your gratification, I think a lot more people would be successful. And a lot of people just stop believing in themselves because they just wanted the thing too soon. And I think I said it a couple weeks ago, but, like, somebody else is doing what you do, or what you had the ability or have the ability to do, simply because they believed in themselves. And so believing in yourself just means that, like, you can just fail, step on the failure and use it as a step. Fail, step on the failure, use it as a step. And then eventually you get to success. And you just have to be able to push through the failures and use them as a stepping stone to get to the next level. And so these are things that I always have to tell myself, because life is full of failures, and sometimes you don't know when like a failure is like the end failure, or like when should you stop, but you just keep pushing, just keep being consistent, keep releasing content, keep planting stuff, and the emails keep coming, the jobs keep coming through, and so yeah, just got to be consistent. That is one of the challenges that most people will never make it through. And so Nora, is it Nora?
No.
Be consistent. You need to be consistent.
This is from David Allen.
Oh,
Define
Who's that?
successful.
define successful. That's one thing I was going to go off on a tangent about, and I didn't, but yeah. So in business, people typically define success as wealth. But for me to get to the end of my life and just have a bunch of money, like that wouldn't be success, because I know a lot of very wealthy people. I used to work in auto mechanics, and we specialized in European like luxury vehicles. And so there's a gentleman that I went and I picked up his Ferrari Enzo from his house. He had a Porsche 918 Spider. You guys can look up all these cars. Like, these are multi-million-dollar cars now. And he had two sons. He had one of the biggest houses in town. Two sons both committed suicide. And he ended up being, like, he would always walk in, really happy-go-lucky kind of guy. He was divorced, so he was very open about his feelings all the time when he went through his divorce with me. And then one of his sons committed suicide, and then he was always, going to see counselors. It just took a toll on his life, and then I guess that was like the moment that I saw. And you always hear like, oh, money doesn't buy happiness. And when you look at somebody like that, and you pick up a Ferrari Enzo and you drive it across the city, you're like, I don't know, money kind of does buy happiness. And then you realize that, oh, he lost his sons, and actually nothing else matters. And actually, he would actually give all of that up just to get his sons back. And he said that to me. Like, he would lose it all. And obviously, he would lose it all. And so, like, success isn't really like a destination, I guess, for me. Success is more momentary, because I don't even know if I believe in legacy anymore. Like, I think legacy is even fleeting. I mean, I heard a guy the other day, he was like, when was the last time you thought about Queen Elizabeth? I'm like, yeah, like, she was like the longest ruling monarch that ever, like, in history, I think. And after she died, like, nobody thought about her until I just said her name, probably, for the last how many months. And so, like, you think you're going to have more of a legacy than Queen Elizabeth? How about Betty White? How about, some of these, like, celebrities, When was the last time you thought about Paul Walker? It's like, the chances of you actually leaving a legacy are like, very, in the typical way that I think we think about legacies, are actually pretty rare. And so recently I've just learned to enjoy the moment, and I feel like I'm learning how to enjoy the journey a bit more, and I'm finding just more peace and more happiness in just enjoying the journey and the people that we meet along the way, and the community that we have around us, because like that all took time. And so I'm thinking about our family here, the fact that our family is visiting right now from Canada, our Bible study family that we have, and like I'm convinced of the fact, and I can't remember who I was saying this to the other day. It was like, if there's a bunch of success in front of us, like 30 years from now, I'd be 62. And I'm 32 right now. And so if I'll bet I'm at 62 and I look back at today and be like, that was the time of your life. And I'll be achy and I'll probably need knee replacement because I have no meniscus left in my knee because of rugby. And I'll have a sore back. And I'll be thinking back to the time when like we were crammed into my grandma's house here in the village, and we only had the one vehicle, and we were struggling, even though it doesn't look like a struggle, but things were tight, and we're always trying to figure out like how we're going to make enough money so we can do the next thing, and be like, oh, that was the time of your life when you went down to the river with your kids and like you didn't really worry about what you're worrying about now. You're not having to make that multi-million-dollar decision. And so I'm actually not really, success for me would, like, honestly, like if Elike and Seva can grow up and they know Jesus, then like that's success, because I know people who love Jesus and their kids do not love Jesus, or they don't know the Lord and they're not Christians, and they would literally give everything up for that to happen. And so if my two sons know the Lord, then like that's awesome, and that's like success enough for me. It's just that this moment, like this journey we're on, or this thing that we've chosen to do in Fiji is because like life's worth living, and it's not like I don't want to get to the end of my life and be like, what if? And so I could be working at a job and my kids could still know Jesus. I could still be a service manager at some sort of dealership, or be driving fancy cars all day long at my old job, and my kids still love Jesus, and so that would still be some form of success. But then I would just always have this itching thing in the back of my mind, like, what if I would have done that thing in Fiji? And so like I feel like I maybe categorize, or I like, what's the buzzword that everybody's using right now? Like where you put everything into like their own boxes. I think I just, yeah, I'm very, very happy and satisfied with like my family life right now. And I know that a lot of people don't have that. And I know that like I only get like a few more years to be like an influential voice in my boy's life before like I'm not cool anymore. And dad's like, oh, dad. And like right now I'm the hero. And so yeah, I just feel like I need to enjoy this moment, and success is in the moment. Like success for me, I guess I'm not really like, the big thing for me right now, and the thing that I've been finding a lot of happiness in is just family. And success for me in a business perspective would be achieving the vision of the Waka brand, which is to be the most innovative company in the South Pacific by 2031. And so I really feel like we're on the way there. Like I feel like we're on track to do that, and to be in the lead in multiple different industries, and to be industry leaders in multiple different facets, in multiple different industries. So yeah, I feel like we're doing that, even though it doesn't feel like at the moment. It's just the long game. So yeah.
Love this answer. Solid.
Sorry, I'm like, I kind of worked through that. Pound fist. Who was that?
Dave.
Oh, that's Dave. Oh, okay. Thank you, Dave. That's a good question. So yeah, I would challenge everybody to think about what do you define as success? And because like here's the thing about life is like everybody, when like I remember when I was a kid, and I've said this before, like when you're in elementary school or primary school, people are like, wait till you get to secondary school, and then you get to secondary school. And people are like, oh, wait till you go to uni, you go to uni. Wait till you get married, you get married. Wait till you have kids. You have no idea. Wait till you have kids, and you have kids. It's like, well, and it's just like it never stops. And it's just like, so what are we doing here? Like nobody actually knows anything about what they're doing. We're all learning as we're living, and as we're being parents, we're learning how to parent. And so like that's like the great. This seems to me to be like one of the great and most hilarious things about existing in the world is that like everybody claims to like know what they're talking about when like we're literally learning everything in the moment, and experiences and an experience is so contextual and like is so relevant to what you're actually going through in the moment. So for people to be like, you know, giving so much advice and like being experts, it's like there's a very good chance like what they're talking about is something that they're actually like going through and something they're really working through in the moment. And that's the hilarious part about life, is that like we're all talking, you guys listening to me talk, and I'm just an idiot. And so I have to say that at least once every live. But like I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just like doing the thing that I believe we need to do, and making sure that like I'm looking after my family while we do it. And beyond that, I'm a freaking idiot. All right. So do what you need to do. Don't listen to me.
Don't listen to you. Oh man. I get it. So with that, like you answer this question.
Okay.
What was the question? Yeah, so the question for a young entrepreneur who is wanting to start a business but don't know where or how to start a business, what is the best advice you would give them? This is from Jofa.
Okay. Wanting to start a business. I would recommend you read the E-Myth Revisited, the book, if you want to start a business. Just to start. Like that is like a must read for anybody. Like if you read the E-Myth Revisited and then you read $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozy, if you were just to read those two books, you would already be in the top 1% of entrepreneurs. So before you become an entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur. And so if you do those two things, like you're already so far above everybody else, like when it comes to figuring out how to create like a business and not a job. Because a lot of people like, they're like, what am I good at? And I'll like expand on that thing. But what ends up happening is you end up just being the expert in your field, and you can't actually walk away because your business needs you to be there at all times. And so, for example, most business owners in Fiji, they're not business owners, they are job owners. They own a job, because if they leave, the thing doesn't happen anymore. The reason why it works for a lot of people in Fiji is because they have a family business. And so they teach their sons or daughters, usually sons, how to run that business. And that allows them to walk away, which is great, I think. Just looking at your freaking $400 unit there.
Yeah.
Ouch.
It's okay. It's a good thing that I was saving up. Yeah.
Though I would read those two books. The E-Myth Revisited is the first book you should read, and then I would recommend you read $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozy. And yeah, and if you're really keen and you really want to set yourself apart, I would read Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink if you want to learn how to be a leader. Then I would probably ask yourself, like, and you'll learn this in Alex Hormozy's book, like, where is a hungry market? And set up your business to serve a hungry market. Meaning, if you started like a sub station, or what do they call it? Like, you know, where you can buy subs, like a sub tent, or like, you know, like a barbecue tent, right?
Stall.
Yeah, like a sub stall, like they have, you know, like on, where's that? What street is that? Necessarily Seawall Street, the one that goes by GPH.
Oh yeah.
You know, across from the clubs, they always sell like the
across from what club
Traps?
is it? Traps.
I don't know. Is it Traps?
Yeah, Traps. I don't know. Is
Traps,
that
right?
Traps?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
I
I
think.
don't know.
I don't know. I've never been there. Yeah.
Oh, Traps. Yeah, so many good times in there. Never been in Traps. I'm getting distracted. So say you wanted to start a barbecue stall, right? If you started a barbecue stall in a place like, say, the food court. Well, you have like a lot of competition with like all the restaurants out there. What if you if you set up your barbecue stall outside of the ANZ Stadium right before the Drua game finished? Like, it's the same product, but everybody's starving. I'm using a food analogy because it's starving market. The same thing goes in business. So if you can identify like a market that like really really wants your product or a product, or like if you don't even like not even what are you good at, but like what is something that you feel like lots of people really want, and then go out and do the research, because there's no use solving a problem that doesn't need to be solved. And you see that a lot of times on like whatever Shark Tank or these kind of shows, is people like coming up with like inventions and stuff for things that like, it's not a problem in my life. Like, I I've never thought about like needing a potato peeler that like slices both ways. It's like at the same time. But thank you. If I ever see your thing on the shelf, I might take a look. But like, it's not like life changing. And so identify a starving market and then do some market research on that. That's where I would start. Read those 2 books and identify the starving market. And make a product for people who have money or who pay money. And I would say make a product for rich people, because rich people just pay more. That's just it at the end of the day. It sounds like bad, but like beans aren't a good way to get rich. Like, let's face it. Like, but like I said, I'm trying to, slowly indoctrinate everybody who's watching to the fact that like, hey, our location has fresh produce, and you guys will see where that goes. So yeah, make a product for rich people because they pay more. And I think the way that you can do it, like the simplest way to come up, if you're going to just like kind of reinvent like a product that's already on the market, probably the best way to make the product suitable for rich people is to do the same thing but do it twice as fast as everybody else. And so, because rich people will pay for speed. If you can do something and do it twice as fast as like your competition and like get the same result, or if you could do better, that'd be crazy. If you can get the same result and do it like twice as fast, rich people will pay a lot for that.
I got a comment here from Asena M. Stuck. My grandfather always wanted to be a teacher, but my great-grandfather asked him if he can stay in the village because all his children were successful and have a good professional jobs, and no one was there to look after our toka, and that really worried my grandfather.
Okay, come again. Start that again.
Okay. My grandfather always wanted to be a teacher, but my great-grandfather asked him if he can stay in the village because of all his children were successful and have a good professional jobs, and no one was there to look after our toka, and that really worried my grandfather.
Great grandfather. Or grandfather, you said?
Yeah, the grandfather.
Okay.
So my granddad stayed back, and he
Okay.
raised me up. It
Huh.
is because of his sacrifice to stay back that makes us know more about our culture and tradition. It was a sacrifice he was willing to make.
Right.
He always pushed his kids and myself to go to church, further our education, and know our identity.
Right. Yeah, that's a cool story. Who is that?
Asena M. Stuck.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's a really neat story, and that's exactly the kind of story that I feel like so many people need to hear. And so that's why I'm glad that you made that comment today, because it takes somebody like your grandfather and with the foresight of your great grandfather to like understand and foresee that. Like, that was a lot of wisdom that your great grandfather had. And like, there's no shame for people who do leave. Like, I have family members here who have left the village, and like I said, a lot of people leave because they feel like they can't be successful in this system. Because to be successful in in this system and in a lot of systems where you come from is to not be liked a lot of the time. And so the one thing that you'll realize about life is that like a lot of the people who are like cheering for you in the beginning, when you make it, they will just be asking for your money, or they will just not be cheering for you anymore. And like Hormozy talks about it in his book, actually. I know I'm saying his name a lot today, but he had this he had a business in the fitness industry, and so he actually slept in a gym that he ran his like his fitness training out of. And so he'd do like all the physical training and PT stuff with his clients, and then he'd sleep in the gym on a mat in the corner of the gym. And then he ended up getting this idea, I think it was Gym Launch, and he started off and he made like multi-million dollars in the first few months. And then he started walking into the gym and people were like, oh, big boss, you know, what's it feel like to be a big boss? You're not the same as you used to be. And he's like, oh, it's weird because like all the people who used to cheer for me and like be like want the best for me are now like not on my side anymore and treating me like I'm some different person. And like even though they acted like they wanted me to get to this point, like now that I'm here, it feels very, very different. And so like for your grandfather had like a big choice to make, right? To stay back and not go. And like that's not for everybody to stay back, but for those who do, they do certainly do a big like sacrifice for the family and for the culture. So yeah, it's also cool. It's how you're raised by your grandfather and how you feel like, you know, you learn so much from him. That is a very common story in Fiji, like people raised by their grandparents. And yeah. Unfortunately, sometimes it's not for the best circumstances because like mom or dad leaves or something like that, you know, to go work somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I have family that just works in Suva and their kids, you know, are here. And so it's like, man, even in Fiji, we have people who don't live with their family, you know, because they can't afford it or whatever.
Okay. And
Thank you for sharing.
question from Amit Lal. Would you be open to other Fijian foreigners to invest in your brand?
Yeah, like I'm always open to conversations. Yeah, like it's always yeah, like I mean, that's what I want to do. I mean, ideally, like I do this so like you guys don't all have to make the same mistakes that I made, and I pay the dummy tax, and then you guys can leverage off of the things that like. Obviously, one day, like I win big, like financially speaking, if we're talking about business. But the goal is to not do it alone, because like that wouldn't be success for me. That would not be my definition of success. Would be to like get there and be on the top of the mountain alone, because like Bati said, you just be a sad man in a nice car.
Nice. Buzzy, man.
Bati, and I don't want to be that guy because I know guys like that, and so the goal is that like I can do this stuff and you guys can send me emails at businessops@wakafarms.com. So business ops at wakafarms.com if you wanna chat about investment or other such and otherly things. I would hope that like we can do it together, and that you know other people have the opportunity to invest, and even like you know a lot of people won't do business with us, but a lot of people will like be inspired or have an idea or see a gap in the market because of like one of our videos or some of our content, or like you guys might even like see that we're posting a bunch for Green Fiji Plantation over the last couple of weeks, and you decide to like, hey, my next holiday I'm going to spend it at the place that the Waka family went to in Tevuni because it seemed like a really nice place and the people are cool. Well, even if you don't start a business but you spend your money at a place like that, like you just created a bunch of jobs for people. And like they manage that, like that family manages that location. And so there's so many ways in which like you guys support us and invest already in us, because like investing in that family is investing in us, because like we appreciated what they did. And so that's another version of success for me. Like if one person makes a booking at Green Fiji Plantation because of like the content we made, that's a win for me now. And so that's success. And so, but yes, I mean, I would love to be able to do business with you. And if, obviously, and it sounds bad, but like if there's ever an opportunity to be able to like, to spend money and grow it and it's not your money, then that's the way to do it. And so, yeah.
This is from Samuel. Sambonumbula, is your podcast pre-recorded or is it live?
Once in a while, me and Stephanie will do it live here on the mat. And we've done it once live, I think, inside. Like not live with like an audience, like watching us, like sitting there. But like, yeah, streaming live, yeah, sometimes we do it live. But most of the time we just record it. And actually we do need to do a podcast. Yeah, it's tough when we have family visiting because the schedule kind of goes
That's from
out the window.
Samuel again.
L. Jackson.
Samuel Sambonu. Yo, Robert Kiyosaki said, "Don't work for money, make it work for you." With this concept, what is your understanding about passive income, and is your business in the path of creating generational wealth?
Okay, read the first part again. Not the Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
That's is Robert Kiyosaki Rich Dad Poor Dad?
I know.
Is that Rich Dad Poor Dad? Just search up the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think that's him.
I think. Wait. Yes.
Yeah?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So he said, don't work for money, make the money work for you.
Yep.
Okay.
With this concept, what is your understanding about passive income? And is your business in the path of creating generational wealth?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, we're in that path for sure. Because I mean, we're already doing something that nobody else is doing in the South Pacific. So, like, it's just like I said, it just takes time. But it's inherent that like if we stick with this long enough, it creates generational wealth for like us and people that work with us and partner with us and do whatever. And so, because like the things that we're doing right now aren't the things that like we're doing to try to like make big money in the end. Like I say, like selling beans, right? That's not how you create generational wealth. But, you know, to have eyeballs and to have attention and an audience, I believe, is the greatest, most prized possession right now on earth. And so we have a few people's eyes. And so we can do a lot with the attention and the eyes that like you guys give us. And so and the people who partner with us will get automatic eyeballs because that's just what we do by telling our story. And so making money work for you rather than working for money. What are my suggestions on creating passive income? Is that what it was? Yeah, like you should. I mean, I'm kind of.
What are you understanding about passive income?
Okay, so you need to have a good balance of, and this is just speaking from my experience. Like, guys, I'm not a guru. I'm not freaking like. I almost said Tony Roma. Tony Roma is a steakhouse. Tony Robbins. I'm not Tony Robbins. I'm just going to speak from experience. But like, if you don't have like a wife-husband setup like me and Steph do, you kind of need a good balance of like the dreamer and the person who will just like say the wild thing and the systems and processes person. And so Stephanie was great for getting the business started, like our cleaning business, going door to door, knocking, getting, hiring, doing that kind of stuff. But where she wasn't great was making sure that if she got hit by a bus, that the business would keep running. And that's kind of where she asked me to, when I stepped into the business, that's kind of where I took over, was because I came from a business that was really huge on systems and processes. And so I was like, okay, let's just think of everything. And like, you get hit by a bus, what does everybody need to know how to do to make sure that this thing keeps rolling? And so we just like systematized as much as we could to a certain extent, because you don't need to systematize everything, because like if you sometimes the problem with systems people like me is we'll spend a lot of time systematizing something that doesn't need to have a system attached to it, because it's just quicker just to do it in the moment sometimes. And so we end up spending like a bunch of money or hiring people or spending our own time coming up with a system where it's like you really didn't need to write that email template, because, or, have software developed to solve that problem, or create Excel code to like solve that issue, because like it's very straightforward on how people can do it. But you need to be able to dream, and you need to be able to systematize, and having systems will allow you to be able to walk away from your business. And so the sooner that you are not the operator of your business, the better. So get other people who know what you know to do what you do. And so a lot of people will like look for somebody to just replace them right off the bat, but that's like never going to happen. Nobody can actually do what you do 100%. You're probably better off, and Cody Sanchez talks about this, another great person for business advice who's way smarter than me. I think she said like she found it was way better off to hire two people who are 70% of her, which will give her 140%. So a lot of us like will hire like somebody to like replace us or another employee, but like everybody's different. So like, but if you can hire two people who are 70% of you, you actually end up getting like more of you. So it's just like you end up setting yourself up for failure if you expect to be able to hire somebody and just like walk away. It's never going to happen, or you're going to have to fill in that other 30%, which is like what we do with our manager in Canada, because there's things that like we know she's good at, things that she's better at than we are, and then there's things that like she's not good at like we are. And so we still have to fill in that 30%. So we're like 70% passive income, still 30% like trying to operate the thing. So we're not just walking away from it and just watching the money come into our account. We still do a bit of admin work on the background. But systematize, be open to dreaming, and then don't be the operator as soon as possible. But the only way you can do that is if you create systems and processes.
Awesome answer. Did a lot of questions, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Guys, don't ask me questions. Yeah, I'm an idiot.
This is from Leslie David William. How do societal stigma?
How do I?
How do societal stigma
Okay.
and misconceptions about depression impact individuals seeking help, and what strategies can be employed to improve understanding and support for those affected by it? What's it like in Fiji?
With depression?
Because how do like societal stigma and misconception about depression
Depression.
impact individuals seeking help, and what strategies can be employed to improve understanding and support for those affected by it?
I think, like, if we did a better job, number one, for sure. I mean, like the way, like, if I take ownership of this, like, if I do a better job of like our fresh moments, like, I think that would be a great example to set for people, which is where we only shot one. We never shot another one, but we need to. Where I just asked the question, and my friend who is a psychologist, he had this question that he asked us, which is like, what's important to you right now, and how are you dealing with it? Instead of just asking somebody, how's it going? And just that right there totally requires like you to be locked in and to answer that question in a no BS kind of way. And so for us to be able to break down barriers, we actually have to be interested in people. And to be interested in people, you have to want to know about them. And I think the big societal stigma in Fiji, like beyond the like, oh, mental health is like not addressed or not real. We're gonna get yelling in the background very soon. I'm sorry, guys, but there's some missionaries in the village right now from around our zone Sasa, and so they're giving her this week. So going full speed on the mic. So I might have to abandon this early if it's just like the church is far away. Can you point to the church? Church is that one with the big red roof over there.
Wow.
Can you see it?
Wow.
And so they have a speaker, and the guy's very lively. He's very lively. So, yeah, beyond people being like, oh, mental health is not real, or like, you know, struggling with mental health is not like a thing that we discuss. Okay, that's great, but that doesn't help us to like solve it. I really feel like just the way that you solve it is actually being curious about people. But the problem in Fiji is we don't want to talk about our feelings. We want to talk about situations and stories. Like when you're sitting around drinking yangon at night, like people are like, hey, tell no. Like, hey, tell a story. Any stories? Tell us a story. And it's like, but very rarely will somebody be like, hey, how are you doing? Or like, what's important to you right now and how are you dealing with it? Or, you know, hey, I saw you were doing that thing. Like, how did it go? Those questions are like very not, how did it make you feel? Like those questions just aren't addressed in Fiji. And so I feel like the best way to like approach and open the can up on people who struggle with mental health is just asking each other good questions. And that's up to you, the person who asks this, and everybody else watching. And so that's why with the Fresh Moments thing, I'm going to, thank you for reminding me, we need to do that again, Tui, is just to give people like an easy template of like, what's important to you right now and how are you dealing with it? And just see where the conversation goes. And then just asking questions that aren't just like, you know, yes, no questions. Because if you ask a question that's like a yes, no question, you're going to get a yes, no answer, which means you have to come up with the next question. But if you can ask like a question like, what's important to you right now? And then how are you dealing with it? That's not like a yes or a no question. That's the kind of question. Yeah, you have to think about it.
Get them to think.
Yeah.
And just, I feel like when you ask the kind of question, the conversation will just flow from there.
Oh yeah,
You
for sure.
think, like, and it's just like, wow, oh really? You did that? It's like da da da, and then it just keeps going.
Yeah.
And it builds that. I would say, it breaks down a person like wall sort of
Oh,
thing.
for sure.
You're like, oh wow, this is a really good question. Let me think about this.
Yeah.
And automatically, I would just feel like to just share to you.
Oh yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know you that well, but the type of question that question has been like set out is like, wow, I wanna talk now. I wanna start.
Yeah, for
telling
sure.
you.
And like it makes you like if you just like you can just ask what's important to you right now, but like the next like the question that's attached to that, like how are you dealing with it, makes it feel like, oh, you really care about me. You know?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
oh, it's not just about what's important to me right now. Like, oh, my kids. Oh, okay, great. Have a nice day. Like, how are you dealing with that? Like Archie, like my kids. How are you dealing with that? Well, you know, my daughter has a stutter, like a speech impediment, and is trying to figure that out, and and then it just cascades, right? Word of the day, cascades. Yeah. Like the Boma waterfalls that we never got to visit. Because we had to go to that uninhabited beach. Oh my gosh.
We're gonna go there. It's just
I
like.
can't believe we had to go to an uninhabited beach and do snorkeling. This is hard life.
But it's a good thing. You know why? Because then we have to like go back and like.
Oh
alright,
yeah, for sure.
Now we're gonna do the Boma.
Oh,
we're
definitely.
gonna do the Laverna.
Yeah.
And
That's
the 20
next.
minutes.
The north end of the other side of the island is next time, right?
And the 20 minutes. Car ride
20-minute
to
tui. But it's crazy. This time last week we were on the veranda at Green Fiji.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Doing the live.
Yeah. Singing, drinking,
Yeah.
everything.
Off Starlink.
Starlink.
Yeah.
Now
Wait,
Starlink's
so-
here.
That was the first live stream on a Starlink in Fiji?
Dude, oh
Did you? I didn't realize
my
that.
God. Dude, now you say that.
Huh?
It's like,
First
right.
live stream on a Starlink in Fiji. Elon.
Yeah.
Lamai Sebastianai. What does Jesus say on the cross? When I say Elon, he says Eloi, Eloi. I mean,
That's true.
that's not a joke to make, but when I
Yeah.
said Elon, it made me think of Jesus. I'm gonna look this
I
up
didn't
now.
even thought of that. Yeah, we did live on Friday while we were intervening, and apparently we're in Fiji.
I was right.
Yeah.
And at 3 p.m, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, Eloi, Eloi, lema sabachthani, which means, my God, why have you forsaken me? But Elon, Elon, thank you for Starlink.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good last
Yeah.
week. Anyways,
Green
besides.
Fiji. Yeah. Green
Yeah.
Fiji was probably the only one in Taveuni at the time
Yeah,
that has Starlink. I
Starlink.
think they still do.
yeah.
They still do. And we're the first one to live with Starlink.
Dude, sick,
Been seeing the news for this week
sick.
with the president meeting Elon.
Oh yeah, in Europe somewhere?
Singapore.
Singapore, right,
Yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, Starlink is here. What do you think?
Oh, I mean, I'm excited. Yeah, I think it's just like you need to save up so you can buy the satellite and everything like that.
Dude, the way they fast.
Holy smokes, the
Internet
speed
over
is
there.
like ridiculous. Just streaming 4K
Yeah.
video, like no problem.
Yeah,
Which means that we could start uploading in 4K.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're excited for Starlink. But the end to that person's, who asked the question? Here, actually,
Wow.
just, huh?
It
One sec.
was,
I'll keep talking
it
while
was
I walk.
Leslie. It was Leslie. David William.
All right, and where did I leave off with that? Oh, asking good questions. Can you repeat the question? I need my hydration. My apologies, everybody.
Yeah, I could still hear.
Wow, it looks so bright on there. It's actually really dark here.
What?
Like, it feels darker than it looks on there.
Really?
Yeah. Can you go back to that question?
Yeah.
Just make sure I answered
stigma.
it.
Stigma with depression and mental health.
Yeah, it's hard to. It's hard to address. I really feel like, and like I say, like I'm not a smart guy, but I really feel like we each individually have to own it, and like it's hard to do like these big like societal movements without being really, having a big budget and like investing a lot and like being really controversial. But like if each of us can make sure we ask the people we love good questions and like act like we care about them, like I really feel like a big problem with like people who struggle with mental health is like you feel like you can't talk to anybody about it, or nobody will listen to you. But like if people felt like, hey, this person's around to listen, or like I can always come to them, and like I'm never like an idiot if I, bring up something with them, like man, that'd be huge.
It's a comment from David Allen. Look at Lazarus. Jesus did the work of raising him, but those around him had to peel off the stinking bandages. What's that?
Come again?
Look at Lazarus. Jesus did the work of raising him, but those around him had to peel off the stinking bandages.
Oh right, yeah. Like it's on each and every one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I love actually about one of the things, the ways in which we do the Bible study that we're a part of, is that like the way that we have to address questions is like me and I use like I statements. Because like one of the things when I led Bible study that I always struggled with, and it maybe is also because like I was leading Bible study for young adults, is because like people always talk about like the world and like society is so, and the world, and it's like, well, like what does that mean for you? And like if you just talk about life like that, then like there's no ownership if you feel like everything's up to like everybody else. But what I love about the way we do our Bible study is we have to answer in like me and I statements, so we don't get to just offload the solutions or the problems of the world on society or like the world. And so it ends up being up to you. Even though you don't feel like you make a difference, you do, and you have to. You have to. You have to ask the questions. And you have to care about people. That's how we fight mental health. I think like and this sounds silly, but like one of the things that helped me really appreciate people who struggle with mental health was, if you guys are wondering what I'm doing, I have this like hydrocortisone cream that I'm rubbing on myself. Can you see these like marks?
Yeah, those love bites.
Like I've just gotten these while I'm sitting here.
Is it from mosquitoes?
No, I have a mosquito coil right here.
Oi.
Like I've just gotten these ones while I'm sitting here.
Oh shoot. It's really bad.
You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like my arm was like flaring
Was it
up
itchy?
last night. Itchy, man. Super itchy.
Did you bath?
Huh?
Did you bath?
I haven't bathed for a few days.
Oi.
Maybe I should.
Yeah.
Shoot. I've just been wiping my butt.
Shoot, man. This question. Oh wait, I'm gonna read out Quinton's comment. Quinton
Quinton!
Hurst, Bula, bro.
Bula!
Saying hi to John and kids, Iliki, Sava, and Stephanie.
It's so sick to be able to like actually know like I met Quinton.
Yeah.
Like so if
Yeah.
you guys are like on the street, it's very hard for me to know you guys from comments because there's a lot more of them. Don't stop commenting because we still love them. But if you participate in the lives, it's a very much smaller group, much more intimate group. And like I actually met this Quinton, who is now not this Quinton, he is Quinton.
The Quinton.
The Quinton. With the hardest, firmest handshake in Fiji. Yeah.
Quinton what? Quinton the firm handshake.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That guy.
That
Yeah.
guy. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
Never lose your grip on other people's palms, brother. It's
Lose grip.
But,
so
yeah.
he's just saying hello, logging
Hey.
off now, getting ready for Sabbath. Hope to meet you guys one day. And he says like next time you come back, visit Boma and try bring your drone. Nice open sea view and sunset, just like Songgul Plantation view. Yeah, definitely.
okay. Yeah. We'll do. Unfortunately, the drone was acting up when we were in Taibini.
Yeah, shoot.
And so we ended up being able to get it fixed and
At the end.
getting it calibrated and everything. But when we went out to Korlevu, which is that uninhabited beach, we
Right.
were really frustrated because it wouldn't fly for whatever reason. And so, but we got it back home and it started working again.
Yeah.
So we got some shots of the house, which was nice.
Yeah, well, luckily we did that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a comment or question. Where's this question from? Oh, okay. Hey, Levani, Bula from London.
Hey, Levani.
Levani Vitamani.
Oh, was he here on Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was here
I
on
remember
Monday
Levani.
too.
See
Yeah,
the
Levani.
thing about the lives. Like I know
Levani's
Dave, Alan. I know Levani. I know Quinton. I know Nora.
Nora.
And then obviously Norm. Like
Norm. Yeah,
Norm
Norm's
is
already there.
Norm is like he's your backup.
The OG.
OG. And then like Paul.
Paul. Yeah.
I haven't seen him for a while though.
Yeah. It's been a while.
He's been busy.
Yeah. What did Levani said? Oh, well, this is Levani. Korois Kai. You know, they used to call each other Kai. He's like helping us explain about his village back home, Maturiki, and they were like,
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
he's in London. Hey, bro, you gonna watch the game tomorrow? The final, Euro Championship, man. You should watch it.
Eh?
It's tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow on. Not tomorrow. Sunday.
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 Okay.
They're Saturday. Yeah. What was his question? Let me read this. Yeah. Do you think it's right for the political prisoners to still be imprisoned from the old government? Oh.
Oh, okay. I can't really speak to this too much. Just not because I don't want to, or because I feel like it's risky. I just don't really know what they're even in prison for. Like, I'm not a good political commentator, and so I can't really say. But if, like, okay, so Baini Marama is now in jail for interfering with an investigation, I think, or something like that. And so, like, if the government changed, he still interfered with an investigation, so I suppose he should still be in jail. Like, so if there is justified reasons for them being in prison that aren't just because like your opposition locked you up for no reason, then I assume that they should still be in prison. But maybe they're in prison for reasons that I don't know. That's the thing. That's why I can't really like say I'm an expert on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Like if somebody murdered somebody and then went to prison, but he's saying like political prisoners, right?
Yep.
So I don't know what the details of that are. I should learn more about it so I can understand a bit more of like the political environment in Fiji. But I just don't care about politicians and what they do and stuff like that. Lobbyists, you guys matter.
Yeah.
I just can't be bothered. Like, I think I come from a place where like we just don't trust politicians, and so that makes me just not be. I just don't know who's, like again, like, you don't save me. Okay, you're not God. You're not my kids. You're not my employee. You're not my coworker, my boss, or my wife. Like, I don't know. I just don't. I just can't care that much. And like my life is for me to take charge of, and to own. Yeah.
This is from Samuel Sambono again. How do you compare? How do you compare yourself from other young Fijians who migrate to overseas to work, like the NEC,
Oh,
rather than staying in Fiji cultivating their land? Do you have some words of motivation or advice to young Fijians?
yeah. So I think everybody's trying to do the best that they can do, and I say that even about Bengalians, right? Like when he was coach, like I think he wasn't trying to lose with the Fiji team. That didn't do anything good for his resume. And so fathers who leave their wives and their kids, and their kids end up not, knowing their dad when they grow up, they're not doing it because like they're being malicious. They're doing it because like they feel like they have no other option, or because like that is the best option. And so that's the thing that I feel like I do need to say with grace, is that like a lot of people who do leave Fiji feel like they have no choice. It's just like I am the product of a man who left Fiji, and with my mom, who's a Canadian woman, and they actually made a great life for us. But we were always together as a family, like always together. And he was a great father. I'm sure he wishes he would have like taught us more of the culture stuff, or like maybe even the language. But that's just something I don't get, and that's okay. I am the voice of a person who has kind of like seen the other side, I guess, and coming back to you guys saying you don't have to go there, because a lot of the people who are there wish they were back here. So again, I'm not like a prophet or something like that. I feel like, was it Elijah? I'm the voice of one calling out in the wilderness, make way, what? Something, the way for the Lord, or something like that. Dude, all these like Bible things that are coming up today. Elon. Yeah, I feel like I've had the privilege of experiencing a life that has helped me to manufacture this worldview that I now see my world through. And so I'm just the person who's like seeing the other side, seeing the overseas, and seeing that like almost all the people I worked with and friends with were miserable in some way or another, and wish they could make the change, but either don't have the balls, or they just can't get out of what they're in. And we just took a chance. And so I'm just being like, hey, you don't have to leave, but that's not good enough. Like, I have to create a reason for you not to leave. And so that's why we're doing businesses here. So that like, hey, like for me just to be like, don't go. It's like, well, it's easy for you to say. Yeah, because like, me and my wife set up a business. Now we have a passive income from overseas. And I'm not obtuse to the fact like we are privileged in that way. But like, I work my ass off to be able to be in this position. Like, none of that was given to me. And so I don't feel bad but I also acknowledge that like I am lucky to be in this situation. But what I've done with the luck is like used it to come here to be able to be like do this live and be like, hey, look, there are other options, and you can go overseas and make 4 times the money, and you're gonna pay 10 times the rent. I freaking guarantee you. And so, if you want to experience the posh lifestyle and the nice showers and the couches and the nice vehicles and high taxes, then like, by all means, you can go do that. But you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Because like, I realize that, you know, if I have like the ability to go fishing and hang out with my kids, like I'm a pretty freaking happy man. And so, yeah, if more people can come to terms with that, then like, yeah, I feel like a lot more people will stay.
This is from Nora again. Don't get me wrong, but I would love to listen to some of your wife's answers to questions based on wife's point of view. Just wondering if possible. And maybe we should do a live and podcast together one day. Next week. Yeah?
Yeah, okay. Can you see all the comments from this?
With Facebook, yeah, it's saved.
It's saved?
Yep.
Okay, so you can go back and just pull the questions out
Right.
for us next week?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do that. Thank you, Nora. That's a good idea. Yeah, because don't listen to me. I can't speak for my wife. Actually, yeah, if she was here, it'd probably look a lot different. She'd be like, shut up.
There's another one from Levani Sover. Hey, bro, he's been in our lives.
Hey, Levani.
I saw his name a couple of times.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. Thank you.
From your time here, could you name at least 3 potential areas in off market Fiji could tap into that comes close to tourism? Well, almost close to tourism, rural or urban.
Yeah, I feel like Fiji has this real, and this is not like necessarily like the most appropriate or like best way to describe it, but the way I can describe it, because I'm an idiot, is like there's like a real like sex appeal to Fiji. Like it's just a sexy place in people's minds overseas, and so in light of making products that rich people buy, then a great company to model is like Fiji Water. And so they made Fiji sexy. They put water in a square bottle and everybody's got to have it. And so if we can take things that we do in Fiji and value add to them, whether it's like an agricultural product or something like that, I think that's a huge opportunity. I don't know if there's anything that will ever compare to tourism, simply because of the logistical problem that we have because of our location in Fiji. And so that just lends itself more, I believe, to like being a place that, well, he's mic testing. That will make that it'll be a place that people will come to rather than that products are shipped out of. But I feel like there's a huge opportunity for people to export and value add products out of Fiji. And that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, it's a great question. I'll think about that some more to see if there's like anything comparable. Like I can only speak on like the role of work I'm in. I mean, there's multi-millionaires who import freaking hardware stuff and sell it to other hardwares in Fiji. And there's people like Golden Manufacturing who freaking have multiple houses in Australia and Ferraris and Lamborghinis, and they make cardboard boxes for Fiji Water and Carlton Brewing. Like, I don't know. You could utilize like the wages that we pay in Fiji to make products for people that overseas, whether that's making boxes for beer that's shipped overseas or water that's shipped overseas or clothing or name something that is produced here. You can pay a decent wage to people in Fiji and sell it for a higher price somewhere else. But yeah, I mean, a lot of times like the the reason that a lot of these businesses so one of the things that I've noticed about businesses in Fiji is that the most successful businesses seem to, in my anecdotal experience, be quite like a vertical model. And so they not only like distribute the stuff they get, but they actually like wholesale it, or they manufacture it and sell it themselves. And so rather than just like, say for example, golden manufacturing, right? Like they don't just make like a cardboard. They turn it into a box, and then they put other people's product in it, and they control that whole process, right? Like I said, there's a hardware in Fiji that imports. They've gone overseas, and well, I can talk about it. It's Global Warehouse, okay? It's Hamza and his family. They've been really successful, and I don't know exactly what part of their business has made them like the most successful, but like the one thing that I can see that's consistent with them is that they also have a pretty vertical model. Like they import really good quality products. Like they go and they have battery manufacturers, they have oil manufacturers, they have tire manufacturers, and they bottle their stuff and they bring it, and they get it brought in bulk and they bottle it, and then they sell it, they wholesale it to other hardware stores or other people that will then sell it for them, and they'll sell it in their own stores. But there seems to be like this consistent thing with a lot of the successful businesses here where they have like, instead of just being like just like a piece in the wheel, they kind of control like at least like 2 or 3 points in the sales process. And so maybe a bit more of like a vertical model. So controlling the production and the retailing of a product is probably a good way to think of a successful business in Fiji, just from what I've seen.
It's like Samuel Sabono, adding value to natural products. The water is natural product that belongs to Fiji. Now foreign investors has capitalized on this, adding value to it, bottling the water and exporting it to the world.
Yeah.
The Fiji Fresh government did this initiative and the Fiji made products.
Right.
And export it to other neighboring countries like Tonga, Samoa, with other cassava chips.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch. I mean, Bula coffee.
I'm not sure if we still have it anymore. This is just an example, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, with Bula coffee, right?
Yeah. All Fiji made. I don't know what the advantages of being Fiji made are. I know some people that I've talked to try to avoid the Fiji made thing, but I think you get some like tax incentives and stuff if you have your Fiji made certificate. I think. I don't know for sure. All right. Shall we end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't go Ndrua.
Go
Sorry,
Ndrua
this
tomorrow.
is the second time that we haven't touched on any of our items.
Tomorrow's a draw game.
Yeah, tomorrow's a Ndrua game.
And Caleb Munch will be playing.
Oh, he will be?
Yeah. He's back in the field.
Wow. Dude, like it's been crazy how we had Caleb Munns, and then he got injured, and we were like, "What the heck are we gonna do?"
Know,
and then Kurvoli stepped in like for the kicking in the World Cup.
Yeah.
And then we're like, "Dude, what is this?" Like, okay, I guess we can do this without Caleb Munns. And then going into the Ndrua season, then we had like Armstrong Avula, and you're like, okay, like we actually. There was just like, it felt like there was this time in Fiji's like existence where we didn't have like a lot of really good like number 10s.
Yeah.
And I've been so impressed with like the number 10s, or like our ability to have like a few different like playmakers on the field, and like our loose forward pack are just so sick right now. Like at least for the Ndrua, like and the Silasila and them, like dude, like our 4, 5, 6, and 7s and 8s are so sick. Like we just have such a well-rounded game, and even like dude, you can have like scoring, like the whole squad is just sick as, and so I feel like they have championship in them if they put together like they did against the Reds last week. Like Dude, so sick. The wings, I mean, you got supersonic on the wing. Like, too good.
Yeah.
Too good. You guys got it all, and I'm excited to see what happens. So, gondrua. Anyways, is that good?
Yep.
Thank you guys for joining. This is a bunch of really good questions, and we'll see you guys back here on Monday at 4:30. If something changes, I will let you guys know. Of course, my name is Jonathan. This was On the Mat. Happy Friday, and go get some subs tonight. Peace.
Peace.